New Jerusalem. And we're going to be discussing part 2 of the book of Enoch, why this book is necessary. This is sponsored by Harmony House of Deliverance Ministries, and I am Bishop Leonard Ledoux, and we just want to make sure that everybody understands that this is an important book that needs to be added, should have been part of the canon, and we're going to find out some of the things that it offers, how it correlates with other books in the 66 that we currently use, and that is very viable God's word. I just believe that it should be something that we should be using along to be able to fix and to be able to understand a lot of things that's going on that's missing in the 66 books of the Bible. Initiator, pre-flood messenger of Yahweh, was taken up because he walked with God and he was that strong with him, and he was one that understood, and God gave him the knowledge and used him in several ways, as we will find out as we continue in this book. Now, like I said, this book was included with thousands of books found with the Dead Sea Scrolls in 1947, and Jude did quote from this book. As you can go to Jude and you can find out. So Jude had to know something about this book for him to even come up with it in the Bible that we use today. Establish that this is a genuine text that was written for your generation, or for our generation. This book is instructions that we need to use to carry out in these last days. You know, we are not to have fear, as Enoch chapter 92, 2-5 lets us know. Let not your spirit be troubled on account of times, for the Holy and Great One has appointed days for all things. And the righteous shall arise from sleep, and walk in the paths of righteousness. And all his path and conversation shall be eternal goodness and grace. He will be gracious to the righteous, and give him eternal uprightness. And he will give him power, so that he shall be endowed with goodness and righteousness, and he shall walk in eternal light. And sin shall perish in darkness forever, and shall no one be seen from that day forevermore. We should not fear, and that's what he wants to teach us here, not to be troubled. And these titles, these words, occurred in the Bible at least 331 times in 144 different verses. So he is telling us that we shouldn't fear. If we would just give our faith and obedience to him, we shouldn't fear the things that are coming, but just keep ourselves rooted in him, so that we be able to go forth and be able to understand that this is temporary and with him is permanent. Second Esdras is another book that we're going to be going into. Second Esdras 2:27 and 28, and this was part of the canon at one point, which is not. But anyway, be not weary, for when the day of trouble or heaviness cometh, others shall weep and be sorrowful, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance. The hardened or the heathen shall even tear. The heathen shall even shall be able to do nothing against thee, saith the Lord. So my words were getting a little twisted there, sorry. But what God is telling us is that if we endure in him, we shouldn't have to worry. We should be able to see, and the heathen shall even be, thou shalt able to do nothing against the Lord. So we got to trust and believe in God and know that he is who he is. And we got to be able to believe the word that we're given, because, you know, some people want to just go with the 66 books and say that that's all God. But I believe God is bigger than the 66 books, and I believe all these other books are there for a reason, not to fool us, but to give us understanding of what was said in those 66 that they made in the canon of the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD. Love uprightness and walk therein, and draw nigh, not nigh to uprightness, with a double heart. Enoch 91:34. And if you go to James 1:8, it says the same thing. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. So we need to understand what God is telling us about two things being in the world and being of the world. We can't do both. We can't serve God and we can't serve mammon, which is another demon that we can discuss later. But God wants us to serve Him and not have a double heart. And associate not with those of a double heart, but walk in the righteousness, my sons, and it shall guide you on good paths, and righteousness shall be your companion. But I know that violence may increase on the earth, and a great chastisement be executed on the earth, and all righteousness come to an end. Yea, it shall be cut off from its roots, and its whole structure be destroyed. That's Enoch 91, 4 and 5. And this is what we're going through now today, these last days. A lot of people always say the last days are here, the last days are here. But we have to realize that a day to God is like 1,000 years to us. So if you look at the time that we've been here and the time that He's been gone over the 2,000 years, that means we're on the third day. The 2 days have already passed. And if He was to come back on the third day, like He did in the resurrection, then His time is coming close. And our time is coming short on this earth. We must realize this and understand that we must be able to come to Him and be with Him. Unrighteousness shall again be consumed on the earth, and all the deeds of unrighteousness and of violence and transgression shall prevail in a twofold degree. And when sin and unrighteousness and blasphemy and violence and all kinds of deeds increase, and apostasy and transgression of uncleanness increase, a great chastisement shall come from heaven upon all these, and the Holy Lord will come forth with wrath and chastisement to execute judgment on earth. Enoch 91, 6 through 7. Days, violence shall be cut off from its roots, and the roots of unrighteousness together with deceit, and they shall be destroyed from under heaven, and all the idols of the heathen shall be abandoned, and the temples burnt with fire, and they shall remove them from the whole earth, and they, the heathen, shall be cast into the judgment of fire, and shall perish in wrath and in gracious judgment forever. And the righteous shall arise from their sleep, and wisdom shall arise and be given unto them. Enoch 91, 8 and 10. Righteousness equals faith and obedience. That's what we're going to have to do, saints. We have to have faith, and we have to be in obedience to Him to be able to make it through these last days. It's imperative that we understand that the ways of the world is not going to be here forever. And if you fall into that, you're going to be lost. Why would you go through all this life and end up being lost when all you have to do is be faithful to God and be obedient to His word? Concerning the children of righteousness and the elect, this is where Enoch starts to explain what's going to happen to the good people, the people that are serving God, and what they need to do. And concerning the children of righteousness, and concerning the elect of the world, and concerning the plant of uprightness, I will speak these things. Yea, I, Enoch, will declare them unto you, my sons, according to which appeared to me in the heavenly vision, and which I have known through the word of the holy angels, and have learnt from the heavenly tablets. And Enoch began to recount from the books and said, I was born the 7th in the first week, while judgment and righteousness still endured. Enoch 93, 2 and 3. And recount from the books and said, I was born the 7th in the first week, while judgment and righteousness still endured. And after me there shall arise in the second week great wickedness, and deceit shall have sprung up, and it is there shall be the first end, and it is a man shall be saved, and after it is ended unrighteous shall grow up, and shall a law be made for sinners. God is describing the fallen angels as they descend to the earth. The second week, great wickedness is their fall, how they fell from the grace of God. And also the description of the flood is in this passage that we have just read. And in it there shall be the first end, and in a man shall be saved, referring to Noah and his family, as they survive. So Enoch is explaining these things in his book, even though We get this in Genesis. It doesn't give explanation. It just says what happened. After that, in the third week, at its close, a man shall be elect as the plant of righteous judgment, and his prosperity shall become the plant of righteousness forevermore. This alludes to Abraham being selected and the promise of him, of the people that come from his offspring. And after that, in the fourth week, at its close, visions of the holy and righteous shall be seen, and a law for all generations, and an enclosure shall be made for them. Yahweh Elohim, God, leads Israel as a pillar and descends on Mount Sinai. The eternal law decreed and given, and the temple in the wilderness is established. And after that, in the fifth week, at its close, the house of glory and dominion shall be built forever. They build the temple after they make it into the promised land, and the house and the rule of David consecrated forever. After that, in the sixth week, all who lived in it shall be blinded, and the hearts of all of them shall godlessly forsake wisdom. And in it a man shall ascend, and at its close the house of dominion shall be burnt with fire, and the whole race of the chosen root shall be dispensed. Blinded and corrupt Israel and Judah, Yahshua the Messiah will come, and his sacrifice and ascension to heaven is taking place. The temple will be destroyed, and all the tribes will be scattered and become captive. After that, in the seventh week shall an apostate generation arise, and many shall be its deeds. And all its deeds shall be apostate, and all its clothes shall be elect, the elect righteous of the eternal plant of righteousness, to receive sevenfold instruction concerning all his creation. This is when this describes Constantine in the Vatican in the Dark Ages. Basically, when Constantine would coming into power, the Council of Nicaea, 325 AD, and the beginnings and the precursor of the Vatican, going into the Dark Ages where they're killing people for loving and believing in God. And then Yahshua the Messiah is the worthy Lamb, and is going to be at the right hand of Yahweh, which we know they are both one. Yahweh is Yahshua the Messiah. Who is there of all the children of men that is able to hear the voice of the Holy One without being troubled? And who can think his thoughts? And who is there that can behold all the works of heaven? And how should there be one who could behold the heaven? And who is there that could understand the things of heaven, and see a soul or a spirit, and could tell thereof or ascends and see? Are there ends, and their them do like them? Who is there of all men that can know what is the breadth and the length of the earth, and to whom has been shown the measure of all of them? Or is it there any one who could discern the length of the heaven, and how great it is height, and upon what it is founded, and how great is the number of stars, and where all the luminaries rest? This is also in Jeremiah 31:37. Thus said the Lord Yahweh, if heaven above can be measured, and the foundations of the earth searched out beneath, I will also cast off all the seed of Israel for all that they have done, said the Lord Yahweh. So God is telling us, this book of Enoch is important. I'm going to tell you, because it explains a lot of things that are a lot of holes or missing items that's in the 66 books. And I believe that was designed by purpose so that man can be not in the truth completely, but have half-truths. And that's a shame, because it's just something that is needed. All the books that are out there should be read and looked at and studied, because it's all God's word. And I don't care what nobody said. They said the inspiration of God is in these books, but why wouldn't it be in those? And after that, there shall be another, the eighth week, that of righteousness, and a sword shall be given to it, that a righteous judgment may be executed on the oppressors, and sinners shall be delivered into the hands of the righteous. And at its close there shall require houses through their righteousness, and a house shall be built for the great King in glory forevermore. and all mankind shall look to the path of uprightness. This is describing the millennium reign coming up, which will happen after God's judgment of the earth and the Armageddon and all of that, when the millennium rings happens. Some people believe the millennium ring will happen before the judgment. And after that, in the ninth week, the righteous judgment shall be revealed to the whole world, and all the works of godless shall vanish from all the earth, and the world shall be written down for destruction. So right here, Enoch is telling us that the millennium reign, for those who think it's going to happen before the judgment, it's going to happen as it says right here. And after that, in the ninth week, the judgment shall be revealed. So now we understand when the millennium reign should take place. It's going to happen after everyone is raptured out. This is the 10th week, in the 7th part. There shall be the great eternal judgment. See? In which he will execute vengeance amongst the angels. And the first heaven shall depart and pass away, and a new heaven shall appear. And all the powers of the heavens shall give sevenfold light. And after that, there will be many weeks without number forever. And all shall be in goodness and righteousness, and sin shall no more be mentioned forever. We're talking about eternity. Well, this is what Enoch is explaining to us, that the eternal eternity is being created here, being shown to him. This is what's going to happen after all of that, of the judgment and all those that are thrown, cast into hell, those that died in sin. And we're going to get into that piece of how hell is and how it's designed later in Enoch, because I have that for you, and we will discuss that. But this is what he's talking about, eternity. Also in Isaiah 46:10, the King James Version gives us this same thing, declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times, the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. After this, Enoch now seeks to reinforce all that was written in the tablets. So he's going to go into what was in the tablets so that people can understand if they would just read this book. And now I say unto you, my sons, love righteousness and walk therein, for the paths of righteousness are worthy of accession. But the paths of unrighteousness shall certainly be destroyed and vanished. And to certain men of generations shall the paths of violence and of death be revealed. And they shall hold themselves afar from them, and shall not follow them. This is our generation right now, saints. And now I say unto you, the righteous, walk now in the paths of wickedness. Walk not in the paths of wickedness, nor in the paths of death, and draw not nigh to them, lest ye be destroyed. Choose for yourselves righteousness and elect life, and walk in the paths of peace, and ye shall live and prosper. And hold fast my words in the thoughts of your hearts, and suffer them not to be effaced from your hearts. For I know that sinners will tempt men to evilly entreat wisdom, so that no place may be found for her, and no matter of temptation may diminish. What's being said here is that those that are trying to tell you that these books are wrong, don't listen to them, because they want to keep their own way. Just like the Pharisees did back in Jesus' time, or Yahweh's time, when they were trying to tell him that the law was more important, and that they made the laws as they went because they went by what was there. But I'm telling you, we must recognize a few points. We got to follow righteousness. And what is righteousness? According to Psalms 119, 142, thus righteousness is everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. So we have to follow God. We can't follow the man's law. Even though some of the laws that were given to them, they take it and fix it and puff it up and fix what they want to make things happen for themselves the way they want. Yeah. Psalms 1. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doeth the meditate day and night. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of the waters, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. The ungodly are not So by all like the chaff which the wind driveth away. Therefore the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the consecration of the righteous. For the Lord knoweth the way of the righteousness, but the way of God the ungodly shall perish. Saints, you got to get it together. If you haven't thought about it, I'm telling you don't want to be part of the ungodly. You want to. Faith and obedience is your way of doing it. You got to believe. You got to have faith. You must believe. And the obedience of following the word of God and doing what he tells you to do is what you're going to need to make it. Please, like it says in Enoch 95:1, O thou, my eyes were a cloud of waters, that I might weep over you, and pour down my tears as a cloud of waters, that so I might rest from my troubled earth of heart. This is so resembling of Jeremiah 9:1. If you read Jeremiah 9:1, it says, Oh, that my head were waters, and my eyes a fountain of tears, that I might weep day and night for the slaying of the daughter of my people. So I'm telling you, saints, these books belong together. We need to have this book in our system of learning so that we. Who has permitted you to practice reproach of wicked, and so judgment shall overtake you sinners? Fear not the sinners, you righteous, for again, with the Lord Yahweh delivered them into your hands, that you may execute judgment upon them according to your desires. We must live this, saints. We got to do this because Yahweh the Messiah told us in Matthew 10:28, and fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. So do you want to go to hell? Do you want to go to hell when you have a chance to get it right? He's given us an opportunity to live for him and do him. All we have to do is have faith and obedience, and we can make it, saints. More comforted. In Enoch 96:1-3, be hopeful, you righteous, for suddenly shall the sinners perish before you, and ye shall have lordship over them according to your desires. And in the day of the tribulation of sinners, your children shall mount and rise as eagles, and higher than the vultures will be your nest. And you shall ascend and enter the crevices of the earth, and the clefts of the rock forever as conies before the unrighteous. And the sirens shall sigh because of you and weep. Wherefore fear not, you that have suffered, for healing shall be your portion, and a bright light shall enlighten you, and the voice rest you shall hear in heaven. Be hopeful, ye righteous, for suddenly shall the sinners just be perished before you, and you shall have lordship over them according to your desires. As again, this is the same thing being said to you. God is trying to show us here that we have it if we just believe in him. He will get us right. Here, the same thing is being said here in Isaiah 40:28-31. That's why these books are parallel. That's why it's important that we use them both. Here Isaiah says, Hast thou not known, hast thou not heard, that the everlasting God, the Lord, the creator of the earth, the ends of the earth, fainteth not, neither are his weary? There is no searching of his understanding. He giveth power to the faint, and to them that have no might he increased strength. Even the youths shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. But they that wait upon the Lord Yahweh shall be renewed their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. This is the truth. And here's another example how Yahweh will provide comfort to us, the elect. If you read Zephaniah 3:8, it will tell you. Next, we will see more of comforting evidence of the days as we are living in. And Enoch 98:1-3 explains it again. And now I swear unto you, to the wise and to the foolish, for you shall have manifold experiences on the earth. For ye men shall put on more adornments than a woman, and colored garments more than a virgin, in royalty and in grandeur and in power, and in silver and in gold and in purple, and in splendor, and in food thou shalt be poured out as water. Therefore they shall be wanting in doctrine and wisdom, and they shall perish thereby, together with their possessions, and with all thy glory and thy splendor, and in shame, and in slaughter, and in great desolation. Their spirits shall be cast in the furnace of fire. Now, is this not what's going on today, saints? What's going on in this world? We have a lot of these things that is explained. Men dressing like men and doing all kinds of things, dressing like women, women trying to be men, all of the things, grandeur, loving money, keeping all these things first, having false idols. They're warning us of the last days and how we should be able to be comforted if you have faith and obedience. Deuteronomy 8:1-3, King James Version says, all the commandments which I command thee this day shall ye observe to do, and that ye may live and multiply and go in and possess the land which the Lord Yahweh sware unto your fathers. And thou shalt remember all the way which Elohim led thee these 40 years in the wilderness, to humble thee and to provide thee, to know what will in thy heart, whether thou wouldest keep his commands or no. And he humbled thee and suffered thee to hunger, and fed thee with manna, and which thou knewest not, whether did thy fathers know, that he might make thee known that man do not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of the Lord Yahweh doeth men live. And you know Jesus said that as well. But in Deuteronomy 8:16, who fed thee in the wilderness with manna, which thee fathers knew not, that he might humble thee, and that he might prove thee to do thy good at thy later end. These are the end times that they're speaking of. Ecclesiastes 1:9, the thing that has been, it is which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. So history will repeat itself, and it is right now. We are in the last days. But how you choose to go through them is up to you. Faith and obedience is the way. But if you don't, here in Revelations, it speaks on these things here. And to the angel of the church in Philadelphia, these things said he that is holy, he that is true, he that has the key of David, he that opened and no man shutteth, and shutteth and no man opened. I know thy works. Behold, I have set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it. But thou hast a little strength, and hast kept my word, and hast not denied my name. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which said they are Jews, and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will not make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world, to try them that dwell upon the earth. So, don't fake church. Don't play like you're in church and act like you're saved and you're not. What they're telling you right here is that if you would just hold on and be patient, he's going to keep you from temptation. But if you're out there faking the funk just because you want to be part of the world, then you will perish. Saints, this is what we have right now. But part 2, we thank you for looking at part 2 here. Part 3 is coming. I love you all, and I want you to have the truth. And that's the reason why God has put this on my heart to give this to you into Harmony House. God bless you and heaven smile upon you. And we'll see you next time.